Hello and good evening, and welcome to the Thursday edition of The Shed, hashtag Irish Blues Mafia with me, Trevor. You're very welcome along to the show. This is my last show for season two, which is the end of the 2023-24 season. So I'd like to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for all the support you've given me over the year and the help and guidance, and for all the people that came on the show. Excuse me, that came on the show. You know who you are. Michael McQuaid, Mark Hogan, Michaela Fagan from Pro Football Ireland, Matt from the UK Bills, uh, Mike Thornton and Jake Podger from Nickel City Mafia. Then I had First and Teal with uh, Shayla and Danica, the Jacksonville Jaguars fans. And I also had Shelley, the Arrow and Cheese. She's a Kansas City fan, so she must be very happy. And I'd like to thank you all for coming on, and hopefully I'll get you on again in the next season to go through things again and get your opinions and your thoughts and things. I very much appreciate it and everything. Tonight's show is my last show for the season. As I said, I'm going to take between 2 and 4 weeks off. So what I'm going to do in the meantime, just to keep things ticking along, is the videos where I had the special guest editions where I had different people on. I'm going to upload them again without the copyright, so you can enjoy them. And they were very good shows and very interesting, and every one of them was different in their own way. And I really enjoyed doing them, and I look forward to doing them again. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to go through the Buffalo Bills squad, and I'm not really going to look at who, as in names, we should get, because to be honest, there are some names out there that I would like that we just can't afford, and I still am not, I would just say, 100% sure on how the transfers work in relation to deals that are already made. Like in soccer, if I wanted to buy a player for my team, I just go to the other club and say, here's 30 million, 40 million, 100 million, whatever. And they either accept it or reject it, and then you work out a deal with the player. But in NFL, it's totally different. There's draft picks and compensation and wages and all that to be looked into. So as I said, I'm still learning that part of the game. But what I will do is I'll give my honest opinion for the season on certain players. I'm not going to go through them all. I have them all wrote out here. We had an awful lot of injuries, and I know that's a factor in every football team. But it's just something that happens. But if you look at our defense, it was decimated with injuries and serious injuries during the season. There was a few in the offense, but it wasn't too bad compared to you look at the defense. So it's something hopefully that we can look at and improve in the off season. Now, before I go on any further, I just want to say something that happened yesterday. And I think the world is in an awful bad place, because Lord have mercy on the poor girl that died and all the people that was shot and injured and the trauma it has caused. But at the Kansas City parade yesterday, what went on was an absolutely shambolic thing by these people. I don't know what they're at. I don't know what they're looking to gain. But my thoughts and prayers are with all the Kansas City fans, people involved, the poor girl that died. May she rest in peace, and maybe she be up in heaven, shining down. And all the kids that were shot at, injured, people themselves. Like, there's a million people at that parade. It was totally wrong. What were you going to gain? These people, if a person can't go out and enjoy themselves and enjoy what their team has brought to them, the success and the happiness, because we all know what it's like if we win a game of football. It doesn't matter if it's the smallest league in the world or the biggest league in the world. You have some pride and honor and happiness out of it. And it should be able to be enjoyed by everybody who's involved in it. And what went on yesterday was wrong. I hope the people are caught. I know one of them are, if not more. I hope they're prosecuted to the full extent they can be prosecuted. And I hope something like that never happens again. And for the people in Kansas, and their loved ones and all the people involved in the trauma they've gone through, my thoughts and prayers are with you all. That's all I can say in it. I would say a lot more, but It mightn't be right in my thoughts, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But I am angry about it because people should be able to enjoy themselves. They It wasn't our team's year; it was their team's year. They should be able to go out and enjoy their year. And when it is our team's year, our team should be able to go out and not have to worry about something like that happening. I am so sorry. That's all I can say. So now, to kick into tonight's video, I'm going to start with the offense, excuse me. And I'm just going to look at the names that are in each position. And I'm going to say whether we keep or we get rid of, or whether I'm not too sure. So I'm going to start with the quarterback. And the quarterback is Josh Allen. There's no question. He's the best in the league. I know he doesn't have a Super Bowl, but I still have him over Mahomes. And I know Mahomes is awesome and has all the Super Bowls, but I ain't swapping Josh Allen for anybody. So, in the story, job done. His backup is Kyle Allen, and Shane Buchiele is the third choice. I hope I said that right. Third choice quarterback. Now, in either of these two guys, I don't have much confidence in them. That if Josh Allen got hurt, could they come in and take the place of him? I've seen Kyle Allen finish off games. Now, maybe he's instructed to play the way he is when we've had a few easy games where he's got nearly a quarter of a game of football, but it's all been runs and no throws. And if you're looking at him for the long term, even in those games, you should be able to say to him, look, throw the ball. If we need you, we need you. And I also seen him play in a few preseason games, and again, I wasn't too impressed with what I saw. Now, I know we have Josh Allen, and that's the yardstick, and that's so far ahead of most players that they'll never get there. But you look at the Cincinnati Bengals, they lost Joe Burrow. You would never think that would happen. Jake Browning came in, and in fairness, I didn't know a lot about him, but he proved me wrong. He filled the shoes, and he could play. Yeah, you take Kirk Cousins at Minnesota, like they went through 3 or 4 different quarterbacks trying to fill Kirk's shoes, and that didn't work out too well. Since our Cleveland Browns went through 5 quarterbacks during the year, and you need you need to have somebody that, if please God it'll never happen, but if Josh Allen gets hurt, is out for a game or is out for a season, that you have a quarterback that won't be as good as him, but will be able to bring the team along the way. In Kyle Allen, I'm not sure. And I know nothing about Shane Buchiele. So, to be honest, I just leave that to one side. But in Kyle Allen, I'm not sure. Do we keep him for another year or do we move him on? If we can find something out there that can step up to the mark a bit better, then by all means, move him on. If not, well, better the devil you know. Then in the running back, you have James Cook, Ty Johnson, Naheem Hines, and Latavius Murray. Now, Naheem Hines was injured all season. So for all the positions he's involved in, I've heard there's a lot of money tied in with Naheem Hines. If he comes back fit, I keep him, right? But if he isn't fit or can't get back to that sharpness he had, then I would be looking in the off-season to say trade him, move him on. James Cook, keep. Ty Johnson, keep. Latavius Murray, if they can, no issues with him. But if he tired near the end of the season, and when we needed, someone to come in when James Cook had done all them runs, he sort of petered out a bit. Now, maybe it's just the tough season or whatever, but we need someone to come in when James Cook is having a rest to be able to do the same as James Cook. Ty Johnson, he did all right. Again, he tired at the end of some games, but I would still keep Ty Johnson and James Cook. The other two, I'd be questioned about. Then, wide receiver. So this is the first line of wide receivers. Stephon Diggs, Trent Sherfield, Andy Isabella, and Brian Thompson. So Trent Sherfield had a few drops in the game against the Kansas City Chiefs, but he's young, and I wouldn't hold it against him. He played well in certain games when he was involved before, and I would have him there as a backup wide receiver if you need it. Andy Isabella, he's also on the kick return team. So again, he's a player that it can be utilised in different areas. And again, I would keep him. Brian Thompson, I know nothing about, so I'm staying out of it. Stephon Diggs. Now, you know from watching my videos, I am not a Stephon Diggs fan. I think he, from the start of about this time last year onwards, he brought bad aura with him. Whether it was fixed or not, I don't know. Now, I know Josh Allen is saying, oh, Stefan's my man, etc., but he has to say that. It's out. If he goes and say, oh, I don't want to play with him anymore, it's only going to cause hassle. So he has to come out and say, yeah, Stefan's my man. He's the go-to guy. Stefan Diggs was him. I've said this before, was him. He's probably very good still for some other teams, but for a team that wants to win a Super Bowl, no. And I hope he proves me wrong if he stays with the Bills. But if I could trade Stephon Diggs in the morning, I would trade Stephon Diggs. And I'm not going to throw too many names, but in Indianapolis, Michael Pittman Jr. is a free agent. And I will be going to Indianapolis. Your Stephon Diggs, Michael Pittman, come here. That's just my 2 cents. The second line then is Gabe Davis, Deontay Hardy, and KJ Hamler. KJ Hamler, I know nothing about. Deontay Hardy, he also is a kick returner and is in the punt return. So I would keep him. He has played well for us this year when needed. Gabe Davis, time to go. And you're saying now you're getting rid of wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2. I am. Look at the Chiefs. They keep changing, and they keep winning. And there are 2 big paychecks there that we're paying that we need to get off the books. And if we can get them off the books, all the better. Because wide receiver 3, Kahil Shakir. If you can't get any better than him, make him wide receiver 1 because he's well able for it. He was awesome. He was what Stephon Diggs should have been, what Gabe Davis should have been. He was awesome for us last year. On the rest of the line, Justin Shorter was injured, and Tyrell Shavers, I know nothing about. I know nothing about either of them. So if they move on, I know nothing about them. Good luck to them. But Kahil Shakir, that's the kind of guy you need. You need 3 of them or 4 of them. Tight end, you have Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, Quinton Morris, and Zach Davison. Zach Davison was injured. I am keeping Dalton Kincaid. I will keep Dawson Knox, and I'll keep Quinton Morris. No problem. And if we could find anyone in the draft, I may have a 4th guy, but no problem there. Fullback, you have Reggie Gillum. We don't use the fullback too often, but I will keep him. Then we go to our front line. You have left tackle, Dion Dawkins, Tommy Doyle, Ryan Vandermark, and Richard Gourage. Dion Dawkins, the snowman, all day. He's playing well. Tommy Doyle was injured. He's been injured a bit before as well. I don't know. Any of the other 3 guys, if they move on, good luck. That was left tackle. Left guard was David Edwards or Conor McGovern. Conor McGovern I will keep. I know nothing too much about David Edwards. Excuse me. Centre is Mitch Morse and Ryan Bates. I keep Mitch Morse, and I wouldn't throw away Ryan Bates either. I would keep him as well. Then you have right guard, Osiris Torrance, awesome for his rookie year, awesome. And Kevin Jarvis. Again, if you get nothing different, keep the man. Right tackle, or you have Spencer Brown, keep all day. That offensive line was awesome for us last year, and I will be building on it again this year. And Alec Anderson, again, if he was part of that squad, wasn't in it too often, but he did his job. So if you couldn't find better, then why not keep? Then we go into the defense. So left defensive edge, you had Greg Rousseau, AJ Epinesa, Kingsley Johnston, and Cameron Klein. Now, AJ Epinesa is also a free agent. Please re-sign him because he tired near the end of the year. We also had a rib injury, but we had a lot of injuries. But when he was fit and flying, when other guys went down, he stood up. So he's a guy I would be keeping. Greg Rousseau, I'm 50-50. There's more in him. Whether we get out of him or not, I don't know. The other 2 lads, I know nothing about. Left defensive tackle, Ed Oliver, he was awesome all year in the story. Jordan Phillips was injured. I would still keep him. Poona Ford, I would keep him as well. Right defensive tackle, you had Dequan Jones. Now he's a free agent. He was injured a lot last season, but he is a big time player. I'm not too bothered if we can find better in the draft or find something in free agency. Maybe if he's going to get injured again, that's the fear you have. But um, you know, toss of a coin. Tim Settle again. You could keep him, but if you can get rid of and find better, do. The other two guys, Joseph and Eli Akanu, I don't know anything about. And I do apologise about these players I know nothing about, but as a fan that's thousands of miles away, I can only concentrate on so much information, so I have to concentrate on the big guys. Then you have right defensive edge. You have Leonard Floyd. Now, he's a free agent. If I can re-sign Leonard Floyd, I'll be signing him. Shaq Lawson, I keep him. And Von Miller. If you can get rid of Von Miller, bye-bye. I know he came back from an injury last year, but he did nothing. Nothing. So, and he's costing us a huge amount of money. Someone else might take him. We could try. Then you have linebackers. You have Terrell Dodson and Taylor Meshaketovic. Terrell Dodson is a free agent. If you could re-sign him, I would. It's hard to find good linebackers, but if we can't, we'll have to find something in the draft. Taylor Meshaketovic, I know nothing about the lad. He could be very good. So I leave it down to the Bills what they decide. Your middle linebackers, Terrell Bernard, he's injured, and Balen Spector, who was injured. So if these two guys can come back fit, then just keep the two of them in the story. Your safety linebacker is Matt Milano and Dorian Williams. Matt Milano is injured. He was playing awesome stuff until he got injured. It's a break, so hopefully he'll come back pretty quick and pretty fast, and he'll get back on his feet because he's a leader as well. And Dorian Williams, I like Dorian Williams. He's not afraid. And then your cornerback, you have Tre'Davious White, Taron Johnson, Dane Jackson, and Cam Lewis. Now, Tre'Davious White was injured, and he was playing well until he got injured. But Tre'Davious White has been injured the last few seasons, and it's nothing against Tre'Davious White, but he's not able to compete at the top level for a full season. And until he can do that, he's no good to us. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I'm being just, looking at the big picture. We need players that, if they get injured, can recover quick, can come back and hit the ground running. Not always easy. He had a serious injury, but he's had another serious injury. Will he be able to come back? I don't know. I'd love him to, and I hope he can, but he's not. I wouldn't be rushing to keep him. Taron Johnson, keep. Dane Jackson, keep. Cam Lewis, if you have to keep him, keep him. Then your safety, Jordan Poyer, Taylor Rapp, and Kendall Williamson. Jordan Poyer, it's time. Himself and Micah Hyde, I'll be going to him next anyway. On the next line, it's time for the two of them to move on. Taylor Rapp is injured. If he can recover quick enough and he's okay, then stick with him for another year. If not, move on. Kendall Williamson, I know nothing about. Then the other safety, you have Micah Hyde and Damar Hamlin. Micah Hyde, as I said, time to move on. Damar Hamlin, love the guy, respect the guy. I would keep him. Once he's getting back. He played in the playoffs. He played during the season. He wasn't active all the time, but that was a big season just to get him back into play. And I think there's big plays to come for Damar Hamlin. Please God, he'll stay fit and healthy. And I stick with the number 3. Then your right cornerbacks is Rasul Douglas, who signed from the Green Bay Packers. Didn't have a great game against Kansas, but played well all the rest of the season. We all have off days, so I would keep him. Christian Binford, injured, keep, no question. Sarah Neal, I don't know anything about. Cara Elam, I keep him. He was number 1 pick 2 years ago, So I would give him his chance. He should be able to kick into it now. Then we go to our special teams. Tyler Bass, I keep him. He owes us. That's the way I would look at it. We paid him big last year. He owes us. He missed a lot. If he doesn't deliver on this coming season, then it's time to, even by halfway through the season, get another kicker and move him on. But I would give him the start of the season and let's see what happens. I don't hold anything against him. People miss kicks. It happens. It wasn't the final kick, the final second that would have put us into overtime. There was still a minute or something left when Kansas would have had the ball. And we can see what Mahomes can do with a minute. I also know what Josh Allen can do with a minute, but what I'm saying is I wouldn't hold it against him that he missed that kick. But he did miss numerous kicks coming into the end of the season. So if he starts off bad in 2024, then by all means cut him and get rid of him and get someone else. But until he plays bad, I would give him another chance and see how he goes at the start of the season. Our punter, Sam Martin, keep. I know he got injured, but it wasn't his fault. But his punts at the end of the season when he was fit were brilliant. He's also the holder, so keep. Then your punt return, Deontay Hardy, I'm keeping. Nahin Himes, as I said, is injured. When he comes back, if he's fit and can get back to what he was before, then by all means keep. But he's costing us a lot of money. If we don't think so, move him on. And Cahill Shakir, he's my number one wide receiver as we stand now. Kick return, Nahin Himes, Deontay Hardy, Andy Isabella, and Ty Johnson. I'm keeping three of them, as I said, talked about Naheem Hines a second ago. And then our long snappers, Reed Ferguson. He did nothing wrong all season, so you keep him. He's sound. And that is our squad. Where I think we need to look at in the draft and on areas is wide receiver. We need to see, can we get a wide receiver in the draft, and then look at free agency, because we mightn't be able to do it, but I'm just saying we need to move on. Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. Too much money, not enough return. Now, let them prove me wrong if they stay, but I've seen last year not enough return. So it's time to cut when the cutting is good. I would also look at maybe getting some. The offensive line is very good, but I don't know what the backup offensive line is. So I would look maybe at get something in the draft and the offensive line as well. We hopefully wouldn't have injuries. We didn't have injuries there last year. But, there's no round 4, 5, and 6. If you can get, a left tackle, left guard, right guard, center, maybe not so much, but right guard, right tackle, pick up something there, just as a backup if we release any of the rest of them that we don't keep. Then in defense, we do need cover in defense. We need linebackers and we need cornerbacks. Now, again, if I was doing the draft and I'll have a look at it as we go into the new season, again, that's something new that I'm learning. If I was right now picking a pick, it would be a wide receiver would be my first pick. Then it would be a cornerback would be my second big pick. Linebacker would be my third pick. Then I would look at the offensive and defensive lines. And somewhere along the line, if you could find a kicker, you don't know where you see a kicker or pick up a kicker and put him in as competition to Tyler Bass for the start of the season and see what happens then. I'm happy enough with the punter. I'm happy enough with the long snapper. He did nothing wrong with any of his snaps last year. We have a lot of free agency in defense, not so much in offense. We have a lot of injuries in defense, not so much offense. So I still need a wide receiver. We need someone that will scare the living daylights out of a defense so that we have the option to run or pass. Cahill Shakir can do that, but he's, in their eyes, only wide receiver 3. I hope he moves up the ladder, but we need someone else to go with him that will make runs and when he has passed the ball can do one thing, catch it. Because Stephon Diggs didn't do it. Trent Sherfield didn't do it. And if they had done it in that game against Kansas and they weren't hard passes, they weren't hard catches, we could be Super Bowl champions. And I'm not whining about it. It's over. It's done with. Congratulations, Kansas City. I'm just saying, They are little things in games. There was nothing between them. So that's my thoughts, folks. You can let me know what you think. If there are guys that I've said cut that you should keep, let me know. If there's guys that said keep that we should cut, let me know. Um, it's the end of the season. In 2023, I never thought I would see the Bills play in my life. I got to go to London. I got to see them in October. Sadly, we didn't win the game. It was a mistake to fly there 2 days just before the game and not have a week, but that's not my call. But I did see Josh Allen play. I did see him throw a touchdown to Gabe Davis, throw a touchdown to Stephon Diggs. You know, when he did turn it on, he turned it on. I seen our defense play. I seen them let the crowd go. It was an awesome day in Tottenham. As you see my pictures around the place, um, it's a day I'll never forget. If it's the only Bills game I'll ever get to in my life, well, I've been there. It's my Super Bowl. But hopefully we'll get to a few more. I enjoyed the season. I enjoyed doing this. I hope you enjoyed it too. There was times during the season when we went through on a bad run. It was hard to motivate yourself and not get too angry at things. But each team will have blips like that every year. We did get together, and when we put in Joe Brady as our offensive coordinator, things started to change. And I think this season going forward, Joe Brady and Josh Allen, you know, can make strides. I'm disappointed Josh Allen did not get MVP, and it's not because we got to an AFC Championship game or we didn't get to the Super Bowl or stuff like that. But on his numbers, he was the top guy. And you know, what do you need to be MVP? Lamar Jackson has it, and I'm sure Lamar Jackson doesn't want it because Lamar Jackson knows he doesn't deserve it. There was three guys before him. Brock Purdy got to a Super Bowl, did nothing wrong in a Super Bowl. Chris McCaffrey got to a Super Bowl, was the top guy all year in receiving as a running back, and also got numerous touchdowns. And Josh Allen. Now, if I could take off my Bills hat and say, right, Josh Allen, leave him out because we didn't get to the championship game, the other two guys did. There's things in the NFL that need to change, but